working parent isn't easy.
I can hardly call myself a parent.
Caregiver, then. Either way, it's just as much work and joy.
You know, Elizabeth, I've never had so much fun.
They are a lot of fun.
Okay, well, I think that it's definitely both. Lucas knows Janette well and does not trust her and doesn't fully, I don't think he fully believes her reasoning for being there, or her reasoning for being in Hope Valley. So because he doesn't know what she wants exactly, he's nervous and wary of her and would rather she disappear and leave town as soon as possible. There's definitely the fact that he's reminded of the past, that the life he used to lead in the past, and he's made great efforts to change his ways and has made quite a bit of progress. And so this blast from the past is inconvenient at best for him. And then there's also the fact that he still cares for Elizabeth and cares for Elizabeth's feelings and knows that he omitted parts of his story or parts of his past relationship with Janette for whatever reasons that may be, and is concerned about Elizabeth finding out about Janette and what that might entail. I think at this point, no. I think throughout his journey in Hope Valley has been a big shift in him. So maybe the thrill and excitement of whatever rogue missions they they entertained together in the past. I think he is a bit of a thrill seeker, so there might have been a sensation that was sort of lacking. But as time goes on, or went on in Hope Valley, and he felt more and more like this is his home. And as he said a few seasons ago, that he always wanted to find a place to settle down and start a family. So I think that past with Janette was him finding himself, and in his mind, sort of a means to an end. And once he stumbled upon Hope Valley, that became his new focus and vision and roots. So I would say that he's done with all of that legitimately and authentically. Feels like he wishes it to be buried and wants to look to the future. Yeah, there's 0% of Lucas that is going to entertain the idea of possibly keeping her around. He just knows what kind of a person she is, and that she's not trustworthy, and that she is, I think, from his point of view, acts constantly out of a position of self-interest, and that there's always a catch. Those people, there's always a catch, there's always something, and to Lucas, Janette is one of those people. And since he doesn't know what it is and isn't able to pull it out of her quickly, yeah, he's 100% focused on getting her on that train or back in her car. I think that would be majorly disappointing for Lucas to have that be the best, because he wouldn't want to take it. So he could, even if he could get a more elaborate resort via Janette and her investors, he would want to table it and move on to something else. And then I think it's funny that his two first bids are from Montague and Janette. I think Lucas puts Elizabeth on a pedestal. Yeah, he very much, he cares for her more than anyone he's ever met. And I think that one of his faults is placing her on that pedestal and viewing her in that way. And that's not to say that he doesn't also see her grounded on the level, but I think subconsciously he does lift her up and envision her there, and hence all the grand gestures and trying to do everything in his power to make her, well, in the past, to swoon her or show her how much he cares for her. But depending on the dynamic, that can backfire, depending on the individual. I feel like Lucas is, I wouldn't use the word content specifically. I think that he always puts Elizabeth's feelings first, and her happiness is the most important thing to him. So if that means that she's happy with someone else, then so be it. And in that case, I think he'd welcome a friendship with her, though I feel like folks have all been in that position personally where you really care for somebody, but the feelings aren't mutual, and it's a difficult place to be. So he'd rather have her friendship than not have her in his life at all. But so far in Lucas's journey, there's no one else that ticks that box for him and that he feels the same way about or even close to. So I think it's tough, but you know. I think Lucas is very aware. I think that with all the history that has been built up between the three of them, he's very cognizant of that is a definite option. So I don't think he's surprised by it. I think that internally he knows that when it wasn't right with Lucas and Elizabeth, that Nathan would be next. Or would be the final choice. So it doesn't shock him, and I feel like he handles the situation pretty well. He's decently good at keeping his emotions in check in that world, and sort of I don't necessarily want to say being a bigger man, but like looking at the overall picture and saying we're all adults here, and he's expecting it. Yeah, I think I think their relationship can be a little bit testy, just because they have different perspectives on what's necessary and what's the best path to follow. Whereas Bill and Nathan both feel like you need more security. We need to protect you. We need to show force, or not show force, but show strength. And Lucas is the opposite. He's like, I don't want to make a big scene. I don't want to make a spectacle. If you have any new information, please forward it to me. But I'm not going to walk around with a posse of armed RCMP officers. And so there's some tension there with conflicting ideas on the best way to go. And then fueling that underneath as well is the tension of regarding Elizabeth. But there may or may not be some future scenes where that's touched upon, and I think I'm excited for people to see that. I think Lucas wants it to go away and move on. He is looking at this on a fact-based basis. So as far as he's concerned with the knowledge he has and the information he's been provided, it is a closed case. But like he asks Bill, if there's anything new that shows up, we will move on from there. But until then, he's considering it case closed, because he has to compartmentalize. Lucas he's very stressed out this season. There's a lot of building and just piling on top of him, and he may or may not do well with that, with all of that stress. But the compartmentalization of it, to say, I don't have time or the capacity to stress about this. I have, X, Y, and Z to focus on as well. So he's divesting his energy where he feels he needs to. And in the back of his mind, it's definitely concerned. Someone tried to assassinate him. That's nothing to take lightly, but he's just got so much on his plate that unless there is evidence of something different, something that says elsewhere, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm trying to say. Well, Chris, love Edwin. I think Edwin's such a fantastic character. I really enjoyed doing those Lucas Edwin scenes. At this point in the story, I would say Lucas appreciates Edwin. they're not best friends and gonna go grab a drink after work and catch up, but he has experience in this field. And when Edwin jumped ship to join Lucas after everything happened with Governor Balfour, I think that show of faith went a long way in terms of just honesty and honor with Edwin's ethics. So yeah, he definitely appreciates him. And at this point, well, I don't want to at this point, there are cracks, I will say. Edwin lying about the Benson Hills, and things like that Lucas may look over because he thinks Edwin is looking at the bigger picture. But Lucas and Edwin have a journey together, and so we'll see where that goes. I can say that, as far as I'm concerned, he's not lying. I've read a couple things where people go, I think Lucas knows exactly what happened. I think he knows who shot him, and he's covering it up. And happy for people to discuss and talk about their theories. But no, for me, that is legitimate. He would love to remember what happened and confirm the Clayton Pike situation, or if it means something else, then explore that. But yeah, he honestly doesn't recall. I also don't think he's too eager to try and remember and go down that path because he has so much on his plate. But I mean, if it comes back, then I think that's helpful. But he's not trying to dupe anybody or keep anything hush hush. He really did smack his head and has nothing to offer. I think I'm most enjoying the pressure that he's under and exploring that, because I don't think we've seen that side of Lucas before. We know that he's a good business person, that he reads people well, he's a good card player, but he's sort of been a bit of an entertainer type person. And in going down this route, we see him in a leadership position, which I think he is good at inherently, even if he doesn't feel like he is, if that makes any sense. But as we progress through this season 11 storyline, the amount of weight and pressure and stress that's added on him and sort of chipping him away, and each thing adding an additional load, and you just get to see sides of Lucas that you haven't seen before, some for the better and some for the worse, but it's an interesting perspective that we get to see for the first time. We're going to continue to see him navigate his governorship and try and do what he feels is best for the people, and the adversity that he faces there. Not everybody has the same opinions on what the right path is, similar to the dynamic between Lucas and Nathan and Bill regarding the security. People have different opinions on what's right for the town and the economics of the town. Lucas is 100% convinced that his way is the right way, so we can see him continue to forge ahead and bring what that may.